Hello guys, welcome to another video. So in this video I'm going to show you how to do, we are going to look at US30 and a few currencies. So basically I'm just going to show you how you should do your analysis and how and where you should be planning to take your trades. So without a waste of time, let's just get straight to it. All right, so we're going to start with the US30, and it's very important that before we do our analysis, we start with the highest time frame, just so that we have an idea of where this could be going on a longer run, like we always do on this channel. So if you are interested, this is what I teach. So let's get started. Don't forget to subscribe there. So this is how the structure on our monthly chart looks like. It's not the best, but we just gotta work with what we got. So the last time the price was bullish, we had a very nice bullish trend line there, and we had area of resistance, support there, and the price moved lower than those two, which is what made the price to go into a bearish trend. And now that seems to be changing because of what we have the bearish trend line there, and the price looks like it's kind of play outside the trend line, and also it broke this area of resistance, which is what we are saying the bulls here are about to kick in. But we're gonna have to wait for this candlestick to close before we can say it's confirmed that we are bullish. So there's nothing else that we can comment on this one. And now let's look at how it looks like on our weekly chart. The weekly chart is also definitely bullish because of what we have this as the trend line that we had the last time, and the price basically went up, and then it took this resistance out, it took this resistance out, it took the trend line out, and then it went to this, which is what the nearest support. That's where you were supposed to search for those buy trades to join the bullish trend. You see, just because you know that the price is going up, the trend is going up, does not mean you can jump in at any given, in the middle of nowhere. You need to say, I'm going to take my trades there, the support. The price here pulled back to the support, and then it pushed up. So I think it will be safer if it moves higher than that, so that it will allow you to draw a trend line, then you continue buying like that. So for now, if it comes back to the same support, I wouldn't advise you to buy again, because if we are bullish, we expect you to at least give us higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. So the moment that you're giving us this nice high, but you're failing to give us another one, you're coming back to the same support, this is a sign that you're not that strong as a bull. So now why should I give you a second chance? For me to give you a second chance, or for me to give you another chance, you need to at least give me a higher high. So let's check what we got on daily and see if things are slightly different or just the same. So here we did have a bullish trend there, and all of that changed when the price moved lower, and then breaking the area of support, we're going lower than them, and then we became bearish. So it means this is the area of resistance that changed all of that. It's the one that caused the price to push down and then change the trend. So because of that, it became very strong. As you can see here, the price went back to it, and then it was forced to go down. So when it moved to the downside, it's only a matter of saying, let's see, now we are back at the same resistance. And I told you that if you want me to give you a second chance, at least give us something. Give me at least a higher high or a lower low. Here, because the trend is kind of bearish, we need to at least give us lower low. Here we can see we gave us this low, but now you're failing to give us this. You are back at the same resistance again. So for me to sell again, it's not something that is I would do so freely because of what. But yes, I see that the bulls, when they were going up, they were trying to pause there, doing all these sort of things, but it did not work. So the bears can still push to the downside, but me giving them a second chance around that level, whereas they haven't given me a lower low, it's not something that I would advise you to do. I'd rather wait for something else, because of what it's not a must for me to trade this. So if I see that things are not, they're not like clear, I don't have to trade that. I can go and look at something else and then trade that in the meantime. So here we were bullish, and then all of that changed when we moved to the downside, and we had this as our nearest area of resistance, and then we had this as the other one, and now the price went straight for that one, right? But we need to see that, we need to remember that these are just the bulls trying to sort of have a short-term play to the upside, but they haven't yet defeated the bears completely. So we can see that we are in the middle of nowhere, but the bears can still say, let's go back. Let's go back. They can still do something like that, unless if the bulls were to say, no, we want to take full control, we want to be in charge and do that, then they will give you a chance to keep on buying like that. But for now, trusting them, it's not something that I would do. The structure here, it's very tricky at the moment, and the good thing about trading is that you are not forced to trade something that does not make sense. You are allowed to go to something else. So here on H1, what do we have? We do have a bullish trend, we do have a bullish trend line there. So I would say if you wanted to sell and your H1 is your execution time frame, I'd rather wait for this, and then I would say this is the resistance that did that, and then I'll sell from there. I think it will be safer like that. And then let's check if we've got anything different on our M15, which is the smallest time frame you can go to. So the structure here on M15, it's not so different to what we got on Nasdaq. If you haven't watched that video, please make sure that after watching this one you go there. So here is what we had. We were bullish, we had a bullish trend line, but all of that changed. The price moved lower than it, and now we have a bearish trend on this chart basically. So basically that's why I'll say it looks the same as what we had on Nasdaq. So when the price, or if it goes up there, you can try and get your trades there to the downside. And also here's just that we don't have anything to the left, so I wouldn't advise you to try and accompany the price up. I would say now, because the trend is bearish, you just need to put this and then put the zone there and say, should the price go there and give me confirmation, I will take it to the downside. So that's basically all that I have for you with regards to the US30 for now. So let's move to the next chart. All right, the next chart that we're going to look at is gold. So let's just run through it quickly and then see if we can't get some trading ideas. So let's remove these drawings, which are done long time ago. So it's very important that when you are a trader, as much as you know what you want to do, you know you want to buy, but you need to know where the market is going, so that you know what type of trade to take and where to take that trade and how you're going to take the trade. Those concepts are very, very important. So this is our monthly chart, and here, if you still remember, those who have been on this channel for quite some time would remember that we had hoped that the price will touch this guy here before rallying, this guy here, but unfortunately it missed it by a very small margin. And the thing that made us to say that, hey, it looks like the bears are not going to come back, or the bulls are not going to allow the bears to even go there, it's when the bulls did this. They did what? Bullish engulfing. That's when we saw that they mean business. And you can see from there, they just carried on pushing, and then now we are inside the next opposing structure, which is what? The resistance. So now we can, maybe they will give us a pullback, right? So we will see. So now we are inside that. You need to understand the location. It says on the longer run, if I've been holding buy trades, I need to understand that things might be, they look slightly different now because of where we are currently. I cannot keep on adding more buy trades for long term, but yet I see the price is inside a monthly resistance. So what do we have on weekly? On weekly, there was a point where we were hoping that the pullback would come to this support, so that we would take that, we would join that trend, because of what? The weekly was bearish, and we had a bearish trend line there. We had area of resistance, and then we see the price moving above it. When the price was coming to the downside, we were saying it has to come here so that we try and catch that and join the bullish trend, but that never happened. That's the thing with trading. You can say, hopefully this happens so that I join the trade, and then it doesn't happen, then you miss the trade. It's fine, you move to the next one. So this is what we have on weekly currently. So this is the nearest weekly resistance, of which we just touched it, and it's very fresh, and it's also located inside that monthly one. So maybe in the next coming weeks, that might not happen this week, but maybe in the next coming weeks the price will start to drop, and maybe it will even reach this support, because on the weekly, this is your support, that's your resistance, and we've hit the ceiling. So from the ceiling, if you are to get confirmation for you to sell, because you can't just go in and sell, because these time frames are still bullish, right? So you want to sell, you want to take a pullback, but you must first wait for the price to show you that it wants to pull to the downside. Then when it gives you that, that's when you will sell. So until it gives you that, you cannot sell. So let's see what we got. So as long as you know that where you are located, you might end up getting a trade to go to the downside, which is good. And then the same thing here on daily. What you can see is that we are there next to, we have hit that next opposing resistance on daily, which is inside the weekly one and also the monthly one. So that's the next resistance that we got. And then here's your support. Let me just zoom in so that you can see what I'm talking about. This is your nearest support. This is your nearest support, right? So you can see that even if you are someone that's trading on daily, it's not yet something to say that, yeah, there's a green light for me to sell. Because of what I would say, if you're executing on daily, you just put a bullish trend line and then you say, okay, I know where we are located inside those higher time frame key structures. And now what we're getting there at the top there is that we did have a bearish engulfing. So maybe those bears will still continue to go to the downside, break the trend line, break the support, then I can catch something like that. But now on Friday, look at the price date, it gave you that bullish rejection candlestick, which is still suggesting that the bulls are not yet ready. They are not willing to give up the power. They still can push to go to the upside. But if you're executing directly from daily, wait for this guy to be taken out and maybe area of support, then you can take that. So what do we have on H4 quickly? If you are executing on, remember this thing will depend on which time frame is your execution time frame. So if H4 is your execution time frame, you'll just say I do have still in the sort of the bullish trend has been taken out because of what the bullish trend line is out, the nearest area of resistance is out, which is why when we are saying you need to understand where you're located, look at this one. If you are executing on H4, right, you would say that I have this as the support and the price is coming back. Now you need to ask yourself questions. Yes, I see we are bullish, we've got a nice support here. Is it something that I can take with confidence? Then the answer would be no, because of what, where we are located. The price is coming from that monthly, weekly, daily resistance. So that's why if you're trying to push up against that, you cannot be confident with that. And you can see in this case, the price came back and then it went lower than the support. So which is why we're saying here we are bullish. So maybe the price would go up to at least this, because this is the guy that's what I'm saying. If you are trading on H4, you have got your eyes on that resistance to say that resistance, I know it is located inside the daily one, it is located inside the weekly one and the monthly one. And on this time frame, what it did is that it pushed the price down, broke the support, broke the bullish trend line. So if the price was to give me a chance to go there, I'll look for reasons to sell because of what, the location and also what that thing did, that zone did. So let's just quickly check what we have on H1, because remember, like I'm saying, different people trade different time frames, right? So here on our H1, we did have the same thing. This is our bullish trend line and now it's broken, and then we're bearish and then broken again. Now we had to adjust our trend line and say currently our H1 is bearish, and then you have this as your trend line, and then that being the trend line, it means this is your resistance because it pushed down, creating a lower low. So from there you can see there's some confirmation there, but maybe it will continue like that. But if you're on H4, you don't have a trade yet. But if you're on H1, you could have used this as your confirmation to say the trend is bearish and we are now back to the resistance, which is why I wanted to sell there. So that's what you can take. So from gold, we do know that it's also bearish. So let's look at the next chart. All right, the next chart we're gonna look at is GbpJpy. So we're gonna do the same thing. We start at the highest time frame and then we just look at the structure and then see if we can come up with any predictions, right? So this is how our monthly chart looks like. So judging from the structure on the monthly chart, it looks like the extreme that we can reach is that it's with currencies, it's very difficult for them to move like that within a very short period of time, unless if there's something happening fundamental. You see, this is very unrealistic when it comes to currencies. Something must have been happening at the time, be it in the UK or there in Japan, right? So but here, this is our nearest resistance, and our support is still somewhere anywhere around there, but you get the idea. So now let's check the weekly chart and see how it looks like. So it's the same thing, we don't have anything much even here, even though it's not like a zone, but there's definitely something there. With currencies, like, it's very, very difficult for it to just move in one direction for a very long time, unlike stocks or things like Nasdaq, that when a company is doing well, their stock value will always go up, which is why those ones will always move in one direction. But this one's here, it's a different story when you are comparing what's happening in one country to the other one. So now we are on the daily, things are starting to open up a little bit, and we have got this as our nearest area of support, and we hit that, right? And now the price was moving up. So basically we were bullish, and all of that changed, we became bearish, and it looks like even the bearish trend is about to change because of what we were moving to the downside, and then we broke that, and this is the nearest resistance on our daily, and this is the nearest support on our daily. I mean, this is the resistance, this is the support. And remember, right now, because we are consolidating, you need to understand that when you're consolidating and you want to take a buy trade or you want to take a sell trade, you need to have confirmation for that. If you don't have confirmation, you're not going to take a trade. So for now, our daily is consolidating and we are inside a resistance, meaning there, if you want to sell, it needs to be with confirmation. So here, this is our H4. The H4 was bullish, and then it became bearish, and then I think we went higher than that, becoming bullish again. So now we are still sort of pushing to the upside. We're still very much bullish, but we know we are inside of that daily resistance, so we can get some trades to go to the downside, but we will need to get confirmation for that. And here we had that bearish engulfing. So let's see what we have on H1. On H1, that's where the structure is already bearish because of what? We broke this and we broke the areas of support that we had there. So maybe if the price was to come back to this and then you get confirmation there, then you can take a sell because of what? The location allows us to look for those sell trades. So that's all that I have. So remember, if you don't get confirmation, you don't have a trade. The zone can be taken out. So that's all that we can expect from the GJ. Let's move to the next currency pair. All right, the next chart we're going to look at is the USD CAD. So you know the drill now. We just look at the higher time frames and then go all the way down and then see if we can't get any areas where we can, look for trades. So this is how the USD CAD looks like on a monthly chart. And what we can take from it is that, I'm not sure if we touched that. Let's just bring this and just check. Okay, so the price has touched the monthly area of resistance, this one here at the top. So we are bouncing from the monthly area of resistance, which means we have a chance on a longer run to come for the support. But we are still very much, in a very nice move to the upside. But now we have hit the resistance, we can come back towards the support. So that's all that you need from the monthly chart. So on the weekly chart, how does the structure look like? So this is what we got on the weekly chart, right? So I think the structure is still very much bullish because of what? Here is the bullish trend line. Here's the bullish trend line, and here is our support. So when the price gets to this support, it will be a very nice area for you to take what you call a buy trade. But you need to be careful. Remember, we need to do that with confirmation. Let's put a horizontal line and just see if the price would hit the monthly support when it gets there. So our weekly support starts there, and then let's go back to the monthly. You see, the reason why I'm saying you need to be careful because of what? You will be searching for buy trades there, but the monthly zone is lower than that, which means you are coming from the monthly, you are starting to push up from a weekly, so you need to wait for confirmation because of that. So but otherwise, this is a very nice area for you to look for buy trades and hope that the price will go up. So we'll be targeting that. So basically we'll be looking for buy trades there. So this one, nothing much from it because it just pushed until they did nothing. So there's really nothing to do here on the weekly chart. And now we are on the daily. How is the structure on the daily? Structure on the daily still very much, it's sort of moving up and then it moves down. Because it was moving up, we had a bullish trend line. All that changed when we broke the support. We broke the trend line, and then which means it became bearish. And then this is our trend line, we were bearish. And then this is our resistance, we tested it, we went down, but that changed when you broke it and we broke the trend line, which means we went back to bullish again. All that changed, and then we are pushing to the downside. So that's why we're saying on the daily you can say you are still bearish because of what you have a trend line in there and you broke the structures from the previous trend. We are bearish, but now we are this on daily, it's a zone, but on weekly it was not a zone. So we have hit the next opposing structure, so we can still struggle to break that. But it would be very nice if we come to this weekly and then or even penetrate it slightly and go to that daily one inside the weekly. That's where you can start to search for buy trades there. And then H4, what do we have? Nothing much, nothing that we haven't seen. So we are still very much around these levels that can cause the price to go up, but otherwise we don't yet have anything to sort of to do or to execute rather. And then even here you do have this, but because of where you are inside that daily support and stuff on H1, you could maybe wait for something like that. If you get that, you can take a pullback towards this and hope that you'll have a short-term trade to the upside. But we do have a chance to push towards that support there. So that's how you can try and wait for this one. If you want to go up, you need to make sure that the price on those smaller time frames like this one changes the structure before you can jump in. So patience in this game is very key. You cannot trade if you don't have patience. Otherwise, you're going to enter, too early, or yes, most of the time you're going to enter too early. So you need to make sure that you're patient enough to wait for the conditions to be favorable for you, and then before you can jump in. So let's look at one more chart. All right, the last chart we're going to look at is the USDJpy. So on the USDJpy, we're just going to do the same thing. We start from the higher time frames and then we work our way down. So this is our monthly chart. Let's just move. Okay, I don't have much information to the left. So we were moving up nicely all the way to the upside, and then all of a sudden the bears pushed down, having what you call bearish engulfing. They became aggressive out of nowhere. That's when they engulfed that, and then this was our nearest support. It has been broken. Now we are at the next one. We are here. We are at the support, and then this is the resistance. We're inside the support, which means maybe we could go up, but we will see as we are drilling down to the smaller time frames. So now we are on the weekly chart. The weekly chart definitely bearish because of what we had a bullish trend. We had a bullish trend line, and the areas of support have been taken out. So in terms of you're trying to catch a trade, so this is your next support of which you have just touched it. You are inside the weekly support, and in terms of the resistance, this is the resistance, but not so tradable. So maybe if the price was to break that, and then you will have a nice one for you to carry on. But if judging from where the price is currently, being inside that monthly support, the weekly support, it's no longer very much safe for you to execute to the downside. It was very nice when you're executing coming from the top, but now we have hit the floor. We need to know. So now we need to stop with what with selling. And then now this is our daily chart, and we know where we are in terms of the location. We are located inside those strong areas of support on weekly and on monthly. And then now this is our daily chart. We have got a bearish trend line, we have got an area of resistance there, and the price is playing nicely towards the trend line. If you get the confirmation, you'll get that short-term trade to the downside, but remember it's a short-term one because of the location. We are pushing down, but we're inside the support already, so you need to be careful. So that would be a short term. But if you wanted to take a long trade also, you can't take it as yet. Yes, you're inside the weekly support and the monthly support, but that does not mean you can just jump in because of what? There's this obstacle, which is what? A trend line and also the resistance. You need to wait for this, then that will be some confirmation for you to say the bulls are becoming aggressive. Then that's when you want to give them a chance on that pullback. Now let's check what we got on H4. Remember, this is how you should do your analysis. You cannot just open, for instance, you are trading this chart, you cannot just go straight to M15 and just go straight and execute trades, but you don't know how the other time frames look like. It's gonna be very difficult for you to sort of make that decision based on, because remember, it's important to on a longer run how we're looking, on a shorter run what's the possibility. Then when you join the two, you'll be able to come up with some ideas to say, okay, from where we are, I think we most likely to go up or to go to the downside. So on the H4, we are bullish because we were bearish. We had the bearish trend line there, as you can see. And then we had this as our next resistance, which was 8. And then the price went down, but it failed to carry on with that trend. But rather, the bulls became aggressive, breaking the trend line and moving higher than that resistance, which is what made us to be bullish. And then in terms of a next resistance, we do have one there at the top. Then you have, do you have a bullish trend line? Okay, it looks weird now because we did have a bullish trend line there and it's now taken, and now we're just between this support and that very same resistance. So which means we can still, because remember on daily you have a nice trend line there, and I said you can still bounce from that and have a short-term trade to the downside. So you can maybe get it from here where you're saying you're bullish on H4. All of that changed. We broke the trend line, we're outside now. Maybe you can take a sell from that, but it will all depend on whether you are getting confirmation. The most important thing that I would say you need to understand is identifying the areas that are sensitive, the areas where the price has got higher chances of bouncing from. Because when you know that yes, the price is going up, but this resistance here, this area, the price is gonna struggle to pass. Yes, the price is going down, but this support here, the price is gonna struggle to move lower than that. It will increase your chances, because when you know the areas that are sensitive, you will know where exactly to look for trades, which is what it's very important, because you can't look for trades in the middle of nowhere. You need to know, okay, based on what we're having here, this is where we are more sensitive, or that's where we're more sensitive, then I will look for trades around there. So basically that's what you can expect from all these currencies that I've looked at, and also gold and US30 this coming week. So if you get opportunities at those sensitive areas that I highlighted for you, you need to make sure that when there is that confirmation, don't hesitate to go in. But otherwise, that's all that I wanted to share with you guys. If you have watched until this point, please don't forget to subscribe and also like the video, and then I'll give you guys another video probably tomorrow. All right guys, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.